So we are on, Sue, we good?
Yes, I think so.
All right, so we're going to open the meeting of the Recreation Commission at 6 o'clock on Monday, March 4th. And this meeting is being recorded. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. And we'll start with roll call.
Roll call, Melissa Bateman,
Here.
Joe Cunningham.
Here.
Pat Rooney,
Here.
Eileen Moynihan.
Here.
Suzanne Haggerty.
Here. Great, and then, meeting minutes for approval from the last meeting, which was Monday, February 5th.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from Monday, February 5th, 2024, as written.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Roll call.
We don't need roll call, right? I'm so excited. It makes my job so much easier. And then, our first agenda item is an appointment. I don't know if she's. Oh, yeah, it's the first one is the Friends of Grays Beach.
Yes, the other one should
Okay.
be a little bit later.
Okay, so the Friends of Grays Beach Community Project is our first agenda item.
And they did submit a letter. I don't know if you want to read it or if you want to. Everybody has a copy of that also.
Yeah.
You can turn it up if you
I
want.
don't know if I have a copy of that.
There's a letter.
I don't know if I have a copy of that letter.
It should be in the agenda. I mean, in your binder, yeah.
It is, what's that? Okay, it's in the binder. Oh, yes, okay. So this is for a proposal for a community project to repair the existing groins or jetties on either side. Down at Grays Beach Park, on either side of the beach. And it's to benefit the park, the town of Kingston, and its neighbors. They're requesting an opportunity to discuss the proposal with us. And in general, they're looking to use CPC state and federal funds to complete the project. And it could include using a repaired north groin to better access Kingston Bay by kayak, paddleboard, and other non-motorized vessels. Do you want to? You want to talk more about it, or do you have any
Sure.
conversation you want to give us? Give us a little more.
Okay.
Thank you for
We
coming.
were gonna be first.
I know, right?
Right, I feel important.
You can grab another chair if you guys want to sit or sit.
Yeah.
Don't mind standing.
All right.
You can stand. You can see everybody.
You just introduce yourself just so everybody knows.
My name is Wally Foster. I live at 8 Braintree Ave, which is 2 doors down from Grays Beach. And absolutely love it. But we have noticed over the years, I've been here, oh, I don't know, 20+ years. Number one, the groin. Does everybody know what a groin is? Okay. Is deteriorated to the point where it's kind of a hazard.
One of the best, these are Google map pictures. And they show the two structures that are on either side of your part of your gimbal.
Oh.
Groin by definition is a spelled GROYNE in the British world, is a shore protection structure built usually perpendicular to shoreline to trap littoral drift and retard erosion of the shore by definition. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
So that's our goal is, first and foremost, is protect all the work you guys have done to Grays Beach, which is fantastic. It's, the one thing I have noticed being a neighbor to Grays Beach is the increase in use of the facility, which I think is great because it's really a kind of a gem, a hidden gem that's being used more and more these days. And y'all did a nice little kayak rack. Actually, I think there's one still on there.
Yeah.
And so it's being used for kayaking and SUPs. Everybody know what a SUP is?
Yep.
Stand up paddleboard.
Yep.
So, by repairing the groin, we can make it more accessible to, I want to stress, non-motorized vessels. And the ramp is in desperate need of repair, and rebuild or whatever it takes.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, we would like to, you guys take a hard look at it and see if we can get some engineering done. And, start the process of rebuilding it. And making it safer and, more accessible to everybody.
And more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Right now, I think it's an accident waiting to happen, with the way the rocks are strewn all over the place. And it's gonna benefit, basically all the houses on Braintree Ave on the bay side. If we build it up high enough, to protect those properties, when it blows southeast. And for whatever reason, we've had some really good blows, out of the southeast. Two blows ago, it damaged my seawall. And, to the point where I had to bring in equipment and repair it. So that's a concern. And I've polled most of my neighbors and people that actually use kayak off of Grace Beach, and everybody's very excited that possibly this could happen.
Sure.
So
So that you've got an advantage, you've got a pre-existing structure. So, way back when I went to Naval Academy for 4 years and got a degree in ocean engineering, 4-year degree. So I haven't used it. I decided to go in the Navy and fly planes instead, but, it was a passion and a very fun thing to do at college. But it was all about shore protection and building docks and piers and groins and doing that. So I can speak with a little expertise. I only have an engineering training certificate in Massachusetts. I don't have a license. I don't want to project that I have, a full engineering license, but the beauty of this project is you have 2 pre-existing structures that the Army Corps of Engineers have approved. And likely, if we look back and do some history, we'll probably find that state and or federal funds were used to construct them. So what that does, it's a gem in disguise, because you get to repair things that have already been built, especially when the funding sources came outside the town. We tried to dredge Kingston Harbor and found out it had never been dredged, so we had nothing to maintain, and that was the end of the discussion. So because you've got these 2 structures that are in need of repair on both sides, and I would say both of them could be done to benefit. And we're really here for the benefit of Grays Beach. And I want to add to what Wally said, that the improvements the group has done have been amazing, because all those law-abiding people that are there all the time, we don't have any of that drug traffic and all the other things that were happening before we had a nice park. Okay, so I just want to thank everybody for everything you've done. It's fun to hear the kids on that playground and enjoying the place, and they're guys that have for the most part been great neighbors. Every so often you get somebody that's, out there, but, so if we could go forward with this, Wally's, there's 2 other benefits. We can get the, one, by the boat ramp high enough, it might be able to have something that can walk across the top of it, go down the end of it, and launch a kayak. That's one other goal. The one on the other side, and again, these are repairs, so it could be relocated. If you look at, there's one, look at the pictures. The one that's on my side, I'm on the other side. That's the Deutsche Bank. You will see 2 dark spots.
see that?
One of them is the groin. The other one is the extension of the perennial stream that comes out on the Great Sea. When I was a kid, that stream was on the other side of the groin. So that meant the sand stayed on the beach side, and the water that's trickling and pushing the sand out to sea was on the other side of the groin. At this point, Mother Nature has put the trickle, and it's taking the soils that you guys are replenishing the beach with every year, or whenever you get to do it, and pushing them out to sea.
Right.
So if we could, in the process, relocate it so that the water is going on the other side of it, and hopefully, engineer it so it stay that way. It might be very beneficial not to having to keep replenish the beach.
That would be the goal, is to not have to replenish and have all this happen naturally.
So
this
essentially
is-
move that groin over
To the
Just a little
north-
bit.
To the north.
to the
Right.
north.
But not much. You wouldn't lose a lot of beach, but if you could get that stream back on the other
Yeah.
side between the marsh and the structure, I think you've got the materials there to relocate. Very small amount, but if you could do that, I think it would be valuable. If you can stabilize this situation, and I think if conservation was here, you'd agree with us, that if you can stabilize this beach so you don't have to keep maintaining it, it's gonna save you a lot of money.
Sure.
They're trying to create a sustainable setup. Now, we've all got global warming to deal with, and that's, part of what we're doing. So there may be mitigation funds for global warming available for this. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be shore protection funds, and Kingston has not applied for many that I've known of. Duxbury is currently trying to hire a coastal resilient planner. I don't know if you've seen the Duxbury Clipper, but they're all in to try to do something and stay ahead of this global warming initiative.
Yep.
So I think Kingston should belly up and help pay the price and go in with Duxbury and have somebody. But at this point, I think it would be beneficial to move this project along and see if we can find some federal and state funding for it.
Okay, can I
Yep.
just ask sorry.
Excuse me.
No, go
We all know what's happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no deniers here, but I have proof that it's happening. The amount of water that comes in at high tide. I used to have beach at high tide. Now I have a foot of water at
Yeah.
high tide, right up to my sea level,
Yeah,
and sometimes over.
yeah, right.
Question.
Sure, couple questions. So, have you reached out to see, and you probably already know this, but would any of this project affect any of the shellfishing that happens? Moving the groin, or
I think if we can keep the sand where it is instead of pushing it out in the bay,
it will
it'll be
be
better for the shellfish.
Okay,
Because Grays Beach, I was gonna bring my picture I have from the early 1900s when it was all marsh.
mhm.
Okay?
Yeah,
And
I think we've seen
it's
that.
been a long transition, but
Yes.
it's unfortunate for the environment. It's not anymore.
Right,
But I think shellfish wise, I think it'd be benefit if you could stabilize the beach and not have to keep dumping sand on it.
and then the emergency ramp access, that is the one that you're speaking of on the north groin.
Right, so right now it's a cliff.
Yep.
You can back down there because the sand gets eroded out. If the groin was better, the sand would stay there and you wouldn't have to keep.
And I think the only emergency vehicle that goes there is the fire department.
Yeah, they don't really use it
They're not
that
using it.
for right now. And
Okay.
you know,
I think the fire department has an inflatable.
Yeah.
So they could probably launch that. They probably couldn't retrieve it.
Not in that same
Not
spot,
in,
for sure,
not in
no,
the same spot.
yeah,
it is something we've been talking to.
Yep.
Chief
Okay.
about, but
okay,
Saying because these structures are already existing, it's easier as far as not loopholes, but hurdles, because then you're a repair.
Right.
And enhance
Versus-
versus install.
New install.
Right. Gotcha.
but if you're moving this one, that would be,
It's still a repair.
it's still a repair, okay.
And if we get the historical data and show that the stream used to be on the other side,
Mhm.
relocating the stream, I might be able to build it where it is and relocate the stream. As long as we protect the marsh and the environment that's on the other side.
Even though it's a stream, a small stream, it still erodes.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of that.
That was pretty good clip.
Yeah, for sure.
So that could be an option, would be to repair that one, but then divert the stream to the other side of it.
Put the stream.
It used to be, well,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
but it used to be on one side of the stream and you'd have to crawl over climb over it. To the
Rocks to
stream
get,
side to the
Right.
marsh, yeah.
right, and I think that,
Okay.
you can get into where the kids play on rocks and Wally had a good suggestion that these structures do create environment of periwinkles and all kinds of
Mhm.
environment that
Crabs.
kids get to play.
Yep.
And it is a part of going to the beach for kids to be able to do this.
It is, yeah.
It's hilarious. You know, I'll be working in my yard and all of a sudden I'll hear this scream. And I've learned enough to know what a good
Yeah.
scream is. and a bad scream.
Right.
And it's like, you know, all of a sudden this little kid will yell out and it's like, I found a crab.
They're so excited, they're so excited about that.
So, I mean, you make it a
Sure.
lab, you know, biology lab.
Absolutely. Okay.
But would help you go through the process. I would think that the first part of it would be trying to get some CPC money or some seed money to get your engineering and that going, perhaps get a professional engineer in here that does that. The town has used several in the past. And get them to make a full presentation of what would be involved and what the cost would be, and then get on the CPC list. But making it part of your capital plan is what we're asking today. We know this isn't gonna happen fast, but if you get it on your capital plan as a project, then we can keep updating it and go through the process. I would say it's gonna be several years before we get to that point. But the sooner we start,
The sooner it gets done, or the sooner we find out yay or nay. And, that, we definitely need to find that out.
And you say, you have talked to conservation about this?
I
I
brought that up.
mentioned it.
Okay,
I'm trying to do some other, work to my yard.
okay,
So I was, talking to Matt the other day.
okay.
So he's aware of it. And that's as far as we've gotten.
Yeah, we don't have. no
Because I
say.
figured this is ground zero
Yeah,
right here. And, honestly, Mark's a lot more experienced, than I am as far as dealing with you all. And, so, probably the less I say, the better off.
It was great. No, thank you for, yeah, this is great. So just
Right.
looking, and I could be wrong because these notes are from like a while ago, but our capital plan thoughts originally went up to 2027, right? So this would be like a 2020, 29 thought.
Well, you can add it in any way you want, but it's, the problem is, it's gonna take a little bit of funding, but
Right.
to actually build it. And I envision that this will not be an item, and again, with Matt's help, I think we'll be able to come up with federal and state money. This is not gonna be a budget item,
Okay.
other than getting your CPC application.
For
Yeah,
engineering.
For
potentially.
engineering potentially, though, for.
And we can start, right, it's been a while since I've done one of those.
I know how to do that.
That's a what, October deadline?
Yeah.
Is it October still?
It's October that you fill out the initial, the assessment, and then it's just January when it's like approved.
So we made that application. And again, you'd have to look at where you have, I suspect that you're gonna have other projects that may be ahead of this on your capital plan. But-
Right, yeah.
But if
exactly.
you, if you look at it and you put it in the fray, you
Mm-hmm.
will get the engineering done for this.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I haven't had a chance since Wally came up with this idea to actually go out and see if there might be federal money to the engineering. And then we wouldn't have. to
Right.
see this.
Right. Right, that would be
So,
great.
and Matt might know of that too.
Right,
Because, I think Pine got some to study down at the rivers.
right,
We ought to look at a grant application.
okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously Grace Beach is like my love, so I mean, I think I love the idea of helping rebuild this for sure. I worry that our capital planning is way far out, but
But if there's an
But if it's
opportunity, like
something-
Mark said, for grant money
Absolutely.
that we don't have to even go through CPC for engineering services, I don't know what that looks like, but so I mean, if we can get some support on your end from finding those kinds of things or providing us with information that might be available, then obviously we can.
yeah,
Right, but you can put it on your capital plan for next year, next year and just roll it. You don't
Right.
have to fund it.
Right.
But as long as it's on your plan,
Mhm.
if it's not on your plan, then,
Right.
then it's a project Mark and Wally. are working.
Right.
right. No, I
And I'll take a
understand.
homework assignment.
But I was
Yeah.
gonna say, that's what I said.
But because you guys
We would
own
like
it,
for
own the
Mark and
land,
Wally
it's
to
got
be
really gotta
involved.
be.
We
your-
would, we would like you to be involved.
Yeah.
Bring
We'll-
it to the
we'll-
table, the
We'll
expert.
do all the legwork we possibly can, but you
Yeah.
own it. So
Yep,
it would have to be something. It's on your capital plan. We can
Sure.
work and support that.
okay,
That's what we're asking today. to get it in the capital
Yeah.
plan support for next
Yep.
year. we'll go with that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Do we need an official anything? Just a thought and conversation, right?
Yeah, I think at this point, just start the conversation and, over the next, month or two, we'll have to revisit. With everything that are
Anyway.
coming up now. Yeah, we'll definitely have to revisit it. And then, yeah, if you can find any sort of grants or anything like that, that'd be.
Especially the engineering so that we can.
Right.
So if we get something,
Figure that out.
I don't know. Next couple of months.
Yeah.
And we'll make another appointment, come back and talk to you guys about it again.
That'd be
That would
perfect.
be great.
So you all meet in October?
Once a month.
We meet once
Well,
a
we-
month, yeah.
But as
Oh,
far
you
as,
mean for the CPC?
yeah.
Yeah, there's a rep here, so we get that. job.
Suzanne, our rep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to have something to you by October.
October.
That's
And
just,
then-
the yeah,
That's just the assessment of like what you're looking to do,
Yeah.
the initial application. For, and then in December, January, it's typically January.
And where do we get this application?
It's online.
It's online.
Okay.
yeah, and so it's really
Okay.
actually the
It's only
assessment
about
form is just,
25 pages. I
well, the
think.
assessment form is just, they changed that, it's just a one.
It's an
They did
page.
change it. They did.
Yeah.
change it.
So the assessment form is just a one-page thing. They look at that first to see if the project is a viable project under the Community Preservation Act. And then if it is, then they will vote and say that it is, and then you can move forward with the application process. So it's kind of like a two-step thing, which alleviates a lot of times people filling out an application and then come to realize that it's not really a viable project under the Community Preservation Act. So it helps support.
Or it doesn't meet the criteria.
And
Exactly.
the criteria is on when you go down the assessment form. Should be
Right.
in there.
So it's 3 categories.
Yeah.
All right, well, you can tell me that.
That recreation, environmental, and affordable
Historical,
Historical.
historical, yeah.
housing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wonderful, awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
bringing all the
Thank you.
information and having conversation. We
Appreciate it.
it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. Thank you. All right.
See, Wally, that's why you're first in, you're first out too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll remember that.
And the notes will reflect that. We wanna
Thanks,
put
guys.
that in
See you guys.
Thank you.
capital. Just so I remember that. We talked about that. For the best. Thank you. All right, and then we have another appointment. It's a special permit application for the Kingston Farmers Market. I'm so excited about. Come on up.
I'm Lauren I from the Kingston Farmers Market. We are a nonprofit organization. We've been hosting a farmers market in town. This would be our 7th season. The first 4 seasons we held over at Kingston Collection in the parking lot. And then we moved to beautiful Grays Beach, and it has really amplified the market. And I think the location has brought a lot to the market, and I hope the market is bringing a lot to the community as well.
Absolutely.
So we submitted an application to hold our 7th season of the market at Grays Beach again this season. It is a once a month market. First Sunday of the month, the first market would be in May. And then it would go through October. So it's a total of 6 dates. The market is open to the public from 10 till 2. And we usually start our setup around 8:30. And then we have a quick cleanup, usually out of there by 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Awesome. And everything looks pretty much the same as last year, and it went great last year.
Yeah, our plan is to keep everything the same. We still will have the live music that we've been having. We keep it acoustic so that we keep the volume low, so that it's not disruptive to the neighbors. And that's usually in the afternoon, starting around noontime until 2. And we've been recruiting vendors, and so I don't think we will go over 30, just because of the spacing. And so right now, I think we have about like 25 to 27 members who are interested in this.
That's so exciting. I'm excited about it. And then I don't know if we would still be able to, if we do vote for this, would we still be able to support it with some help with parking and
We can, because during the,
during that?
most of the times, I think October was the tougher one.
Yeah.
For us.
October, and then I think in May,
May
I
is-
don't think anyone has started.
Right.
in that. So
Yeah, we might be able to support. I
Okay.
know we don't normally start until Memorial Day,
Right.
but we might be able to do something to help ahead of time, so we can start
That
to
would be
plan.
wonderful, 'cause I know historically, our opening market of the season, our main market has always been
The big,
our busiest.
Okay. Okay, that's good information for us. If we can try to support it, that would be great.
Yeah, and I know all of the rec workers, last summer, they're super helpful just
Yeah.
in, helping to direct cars to open spaces, but that was our biggest concern about moving the market to Grays.
Right.
Because obviously at the mall, there's
Mhm.
endless amounts of parking. So at Grays, we have to be a little bit more strategic, so
Yeah.
having the workers there was very
Yeah.
helpful to.
Yeah, and they like to do it.
Yeah.
to be there. Any discussion or any questions? Or- No, we're good. All right. So we would just need to entertain a motion.
Okay, good.
Motion to approve the permit from from May to October, from the 30 to 30.
All those in favor?
All of us. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you
And
so
if you need anything this summer, just let me know.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, we
absolutely.
really appreciated all the help and support.
Yeah, no, we love to be there, so it's great.
Yeah, we should have some good vendors.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you. Pottery, I need pottery back. I know you were looking for pottery. but-
Jula will be back.
Oh, good.
Three of our market.
Okay, all right,
Her business is expanded, but she still wants to.
good,
It started with us.
excellent. Perfect. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thanks for coming.
Lauren, can I just have you sign it? Of course. And then I'll send you the copy. This is just the back.
All right.
And can I request that we possibly go out of order, or because you had somebody else here?
Yes. Mhm.
Yep,
And then we can come back.
absolutely. All right.
Thank you very much.
You don't want to sit through the whole
I
thing.
know.
Yes, please. Great.
So do you want to start with the good news?
Yeah, yes. Well, I'll just go into the athletic complex updates since, Sharon's here. So, just KYSO updates. I don't know if there's anything from KYSO. Usually they give a quick update if you have anything from them on your. behalf or not. Okay.
I know the sports are still working through the schedules right
Okay.
now. As soon as I get them, I'll get it to you.
That sounds great. I know we received a few, so that will be great. And then just a reminder of the certificates of liability insurance are required as well prior to any activity on the fields.
That was the good news I was talking about.
I saw
That's
that.
the nice stuff.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
The other thing is, I was gonna do that later, but we can do that now since she's here. We do also have a donation that was submitted to the town of Kingston, to the Recreation Department from the Friends of Kingston Youth Sports and Recreation. So the Cold Turkey Tournament that's hosted every year, it's been hosting, I don't know how long, 17 years. So they have would like to donate $2,000 to be directed towards the recreation budget to support department programs and help supplement costs for families who may seek assistance. So they're going to help with our scholarship foundation of about $2,000 for some of our local families. So thank you, kind regards from John Rose, Jack Reardon, Andy Davis, and Paul Bettle. So thank you to
Wow.
them. And then I will submit this to the Board of Selectmen as well to accept the donation.
Do we have to vote? to accept
Why
the
don't,
donation?
yes, if you guys
Okay.
would do that as well.
Make a motion to accept the $2,000 donation from the Friends of the Recreation Department, in the name. Well, from the Cold Turkey Tournament, in the amount of, 2,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that was nice. And then as far as the athletic field, so the other things, just some property updates. We'll do the just general ones first. So we're just starting to talk with our turf contractor. So they're starting to get their schedule together to find out when they'll be there down at the property. You know, hopefully they will be able to open April 1st, barring weather conditions. And then we'll give some updates as far as the overall turf management. They'll be coming in to do the spring opening for the baseball and softball fields. They'll be working on the B2 project. It's already contracted, let's see, for a part of the Community Preservation Committee, Commission project act. So that will be starting, hopefully within the next month, when again, weather permitting on the B2 project. I'll talk more in detail about the overall project in a minute. The other thing is just general budget planning. We're now in the process of kind of planning and assessing for fiscal year 25 KYSO user fee budget. Part of that will take into consideration the contracts that we have underway with our turf contractor. We will be going out to bid for a mowing contract again this year. That contract will expire on June 30th, 2024. So we will need to solicit bids for that. We will be doing that this month. So part of the budget planning will indicate what that number comes back in as well. That's the only unknown that we really have at this point. The other situation that we've had is well update. So we had been having some problems with the wells in the irrigation system in the part of the fall with pressure and flow and things of that nature. So we've been working on a lot of troubleshooting. We in the past have been able to troubleshoot and move forward with some repairs or some adjustments. Unfortunately, just hearing back from some of our well company that we've been working with since 2018, we are at the point, unfortunately, that we need to replace the wells and put a new well system in. So I've been working with 2 vendors to try to get some pricing about that. I have a lot of detailed information. People need to hear that at some point in time. But right now we're at the point of kind of looking at that, trying to figure out where funds can come from. So I've been working with our town administrator in the last couple of weeks to come up with a couple of different options. One of them being is we will be presenting an application to the Community Preservation Committee. It is past the deadline. So we're going to see if there's an opportunity to make an adjustment, which the commission will have to agree with and vote on in a minute to see if community preservation would be accepting of this application, even though it's not within the current guidelines due to the unexpected situation and possibly removing the original request of the Reed tennis courts. The projected cost right now is about $137,000. The recreation budget can support about 25,000 as we have funds allocated for the well redevelopment every single year and some other things that happen with the irrigation system. So that would bring it down to $112,000 that we have in the application currently through community preservation. We will be meeting with the Kingston Youth Sports Organization as well to talk to them about the status of the situation. And also to request to see if there's an opportunity for the sports organizations to provide some funding opportunities as well. As in the past, we've known that that's kind of what Kingston Youth Sports Organization and the individual sports have done with the capital planning opportunities. They've supported parking lot renovations, drainage things, a lot of things that we have a huge list for. So this would be one of those unexpected things that we're just right now at this point trying to figure out where we're going to come up with the money to try to get this solved. Because without the wells, we won't have an irrigation system. So that's kind of where we're at this point. So it's a quick turnaround time, unfortunately, with the information that we received. So we'll see what happens. Again, not sure where things will fall with the Community Preservation Committee. But again, I am working with Keith Hickey on trying to figure out some other alternatives if that isn't able to move forward in that way. I know he's mentioned briefly to the Capital Planning Committee already, once we received this information, which was just, like I said, a short time ago. And I would imagine once I have more information that we'll be meeting with them again, just to talk to them about where we're at with this particular unexpected project as well. So as far as the overall project, it's pretty extensive. It includes the the rebuild or building of drilling of new wells. Test wells has to be done first, then the well system, then there is another part of construction of additional piping and electrical installation, possibly changing some of the variable frequency drives that we've installed recently just to accommodate the new well systems. Part of what's happened over 20 years is with the big iron sediment that we have down there, we have been redeveloping the wells for the last 5 or 6 years, but after a point in time, they just can't develop them anymore. They can't remove the fines in there. They can't remove the material that just continues to build up over time. And we've been very strategic about that with our funds and, maintaining the system as best we can over the last 20 years. And at this point, it's just been recommended by 2 companies that we're at the point where we just need to move in this direction. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions before, I request you guys to talk a little bit more about the change with CPC just over the overall project.
Without this project, there's no wells, there's no water. So
Correct. So the wells are there and there is water. So I just wanted to clarify that the wells are not dry. There's not any water in the aquifer system. It's that our wells cannot get that water because the fines in there and they've been, basically what they call them is being choked off. So after a period of time, they just can't get the water through the ground and through the system, through the wells. So that's why they need to be rebuilt. So again, I want to be clear that they're not telling us that our wells are dry, our wells just can't get the water. And the motors have been replaced and all of those kinds of things. So that's, yes, and without that, we don't have the pressure and the flow to run the system. As you know, from where the wells are to the backside of the Reardon field, it's a huge amount of land that it has to cover, and without the correct flow and the pressure, the system just can't open up and operate. Now, we saw that a lot last year where the irrigation heads were barely turning on or not turning on at all. And so there's, we're just at that point where it's not gonna be successful.
Used to be able to run multiple zones at the same time. Now you couldn't. So then
Correct.
you had to change the schedule to only run one zone one day.
Right.
There's a lot of problems.
It's a huge system. I mean, that's one of the other things when I tell people about that, we have 80 zones. So 80 zones with 4 or 5 heads per zone. If you do the math, it's 15 minutes per zone. If you did 80 zones for 15 minutes, that's 20 hours of operation every single day, which obviously we can't do because we need to use the fields. So we need to run 2 zones at the same time, which is approximately cutting it down to 10 hours a day. And again, only 15 minutes per zone. So it's not a very extensive time period. We have alternated days with certain fields. So one day the baseball and softball fields might get done, and then another day the Rizzo and the back fields were done. So we've been able to try to accommodate some of that over the last few years to try to make it more manageable. But we just can't do that anymore.
So quick question, are you presenting on Thursday's meeting, CPC meeting?
Yes, so what I will do is after our meeting tonight, whatever vote you guys decide, I've already written the application. I am reviewing it now. I will submit it to, I know that Keith has already reached out to the Community Preservation Committee to let them know that this is something that we would like to do. So I will submit the application through the treasurer of the CPC to so the CPC board members have it prior to the meeting on Thursday. I was planning on being there anyway because of our tennis court project. I know that meeting is also open to the general public, so it does provide the opportunity. I believe I was been told that the community can speak at that particular meeting as well. I'm not exactly sure how the timing will go and what their plan, that's up to the CPC board, how that all works out, but it is an open meeting where people from the public can go as well. So I will be there for that first part of the conversation. I think it's one of the first things on the agenda to discuss this request. And the request would be not to add this as a project, but to potentially take this project in place of the existing application that we already put in for the tennis courts, just being cognizant of the funds and the budget. And again, it's a little bit less money than the tennis courts, but if the board makes the decision to do that, move forward in that way, that's what I'll present at the meeting on Thursday night.
So essentially a swap.
It would be a substitution of it. The tennis courts, tennis courts for the irrigation system. And I mean, obviously being the field guy down there, like if we can't get this irrigation system done, there's no real good option down there because, grass can go dormant when there's no water. But when you start playing on grass that isn't getting water, you rip off the top layer and you can kill it. It's irreparable damage. That would cost a lot of money to fix. So I think that we need to kind of make this a priority now over the tennis courts at this point.
To me, it sounds like this is the priority.
Even though we don't want it to be.
We don't want it to be, but this is.
Certainly,
It definitely.
I agree. Feels like an emergency.
Yep.
An emergency situation.
There's no other fields.
Yeah.
There's just no other.
Yeah.
fields, Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, your options at that point would have to close the complex to all,
Yeah.
to play it, or keep the seasons alive and have everybody have an away game. Neither of those are feasible options. So
And no practices. and
no practice.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate, but I don't think that,
Yeah.
it seems like we don't have a choice. I feel like.
Right, and then there's been a tremendous amount of change in the complex in the last 6 or 7 or 8 years with all the turf money that we've supported and the sports organizations have supported with the turf management to get it to where we are. I mean, we saw what it looked like. I have pictures of it, what it looked like years and years ago. And so there's been a lot of funds, a lot of money, town money and sports organizations money that have been in there to to get to where we are today, to not continue on. Yeah.
Expensive.
Right, and expensive and, right, the alternative is no playable field for the kids to be on.
And we can get to the tennis courts.
We can get to the tennis courts. The tennis courts aren't a shutdown emergency.
No, they're
situation.
not, okay.
They're playable. They need
Okay.
work, but they're playable.
Yeah. And we did talk about doing some surface things that we could potentially think about.
Right, if there really needs to do kind of that Band-Aid fix to get us through, we could try to look at that as an option. I'd have to reach out to the contractor to see where that falls, but
To keep those playable, we might be able to keep them playable and potentially do this. Any questions, Joey, you got anything?
No, it has to be.
Sharon, I know.
Gotta pay more in the long run. If it's not done now.
That's it.
Right.
You saw to receive that entire complex would be
Right.
ungodly amounts of money.
How much short if it all went through, would you still be short for the wells?
Well, right now, we need, if we can fund 25,000 for our, we need 112,000. So depending on where things fall. If, again, if there's opportunities to, one of the questions that always comes up with CPC is, are there opportunities for other funding sources? So, we've been successful a lot of times in the, past years with grants and things like that. Obviously, this short turnaround time, we don't really have that opportunity. So it would just be a matter of really I think you're asking probably to see what KYS or sports organizations could support. I would look at it more at this point. We don't really have a definitive number. It would be more what you all think you could support, if that's an opportunity for either collectively as KYSO or individually as the sports organizations. I'm not sure that's really all up to everybody there to decide, but
And that counts as other funding sources because it isn't
correct,
coming from our.
correct,
Yes, we have a meeting Wednesday.
correct. Yeah.
Discuss it Wednesday.
Right, and then I can, adjust our application accordingly or talk to them at that time if we have the opportunity to bring it forward. To talk to them at that time about the budget, and see where it goes from there, and then we just have to see what happens after Thursday night, so we can, talk a little bit more about that, about next steps.
So a quick question, what's the time frame for this? So if just anything were to get approved by CPC, are you looking to do it next March? Is that what you're thinking? Or-
No, so we would start doing it now,
Right
so
away.
because
Okay.
the first part of the project is test pits and test wells, and so, the funds that we have available, we could utilize those now to
Gotcha.
do that. And then I know that so when we do some of the test pits, we can see if we can get some of the water and some of the water pressures, there's an opportunity to possibly turn the system on when we do those.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get that done as soon as possible. I know with CPC funds, it used to be that once town meeting was over, that you could utilize those funds because they're already
Right away,
available.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that's still the case, but if that's the case, we would just continue to move forward with the funds that were available right away. So it would it would be done now.
Needs to be done before the summer.
yeah.
It has to.
Right.
These are things that would definitely bring up with the presentation.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of that I provided some detail in the application, but I know it's not a lot of turnaround time for everybody to take a look at that, so.
And if it's public, getting the KYS
Yeah, if you need us to.
support system there on Thursday would be huge.
Yeah, so that meeting is Thursday at 6:30, is that correct?
6:30, yeah.
6:30 at the town hall.
Where is it? It
I don't
used
know
to
if
be
they're-
room 200, but I think it's in the main room. now,
The
right?
big
Bigger
room for
room,
this
yeah.
one, so it might be in room
Yeah.
200.
Is it remote too, if you?
I believe so, yeah, I think all meetings are, yes. Yep. And that should be on town meeting on calendar, that agenda as well as the Zoom link.
Mhm. So. If we don't have any other discussion, I think we have to consider the motion.
So I'd like to make a motion to amend the current CPC application for the Reed Tennis Courts. Change that to the Opachinsky irrigation system repairs pending CPC approval. That about right?
That sounds accurate,
Right. Pending CPC approval.
pending CPC. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Oh. It's like one of those ones that you're like, oh, really?
I know.
But
Um, Anything else from your perspective from sports groups? No.
No, I'll talk to them, like, depending on, I know we have some from the golf tournament saved up and everything, so that could be, I know the sports individual, some might have some funds, some. Right, yeah,
Right, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's unexpected, so if something is available, then it's great. I mean, we just talking about this today. I mean, obviously, our partnership with the sports organizations for the last 20 years is invaluable. It's something
Right.
pretty special that we have in a lot of other towns don't. So we value that relationship and that partnership, and all want to make this everything work together. So this is one of those times that we all need to buckle down and
Yeah.
pull up our bootstraps and
Yeah,
figure out
we
how
wanna
to
be
make it
ready to
work.
go First,
Yeah,
so
so
you're
we're
ready to go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And, we'll catch up at. we'll be meeting
Wednesday,
on Wednesday.
yes, perfect, and, we can pass it on to everybody about the Thursday meeting too.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'll send them out. All right.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good night as well. Okay.
All right, so we're back up at Recreation Office Program Administrator update.
Hi there.
Hi.
All right, so just a few updates. Winter break, we had an art clinic that went on for the week, and we also had a Little Sprouts program. There are pictures online in the gallery for both of those. There was an art show that Friday, which was just awesome in so many ways. Mrs. Colwell and her team did a great job, so that was awesome. Miss Terry did a fantastic job. I think she had 10 little kiddos registered. in the South Room. It's very cute. So we now have birthday parties available. They are posted online. Our
This is so exciting.
Our contact is Keith McCready right here. And
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this.
so we have available dates in March and April, and they are online if anyone's interested in taking a look. If they're looking to have a party, there's a few different themes that are available,
Wow.
including a Nerf party.
Of course.
Yes, so that's just
Set it
one of the
up.
few.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Any takers so far?
We have one already,
Alright.
yes, so it's,
What's
it's
the age?
starting at 6,
Oh.
the 6 years old, yeah. 6 years old art party.
I mean, a
Um,
cost-effective way to get your
yeah.
kids to a birthday party versus
Absolutely.
like
You haven't spent fortunate.
to go somewhere else and not have them all at your house. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So, yeah,
Guys,
it's a great,
this is
yeah,
great.
it's a great opportunity for
Little-
everyone involved.
It's great.
We have some new programming. We have a ton of programs that are available right now. Available for registration. There's co-ed volleyball, basketball. Those two just opened up for residents.
Great.
We have a beginner crochet workshop that's starting March 9th. We have intro to sewing, which I happen to sign up for. That's March 12th. I just finished a program that I did in conjunction with Miss Holly over at the library. It was a preschool story and a craft,
Oh, nice.
and Miss Holly is awesome. Like,
Okay.
she totally superseded any thought I had of what she would bring to the program. She is amazing. And it was great. We had 6 kiddos. I think it was 6 kiddos. There's pictures online for that as well.
Right.
Yeah, it was just so much fun. They were so cute. We did a few stories. We did a snow globe wooden cutout craft that they decorated. And we're in talks of doing another one at the end of this month, which is gonna be about pollinators.
Oh, I love
Because,
that.
you know, springtime is coming, so that's in the works. We have a special program on the 16th. It's a chakra cleanse and sound bath program. We have pickleball just started signups today for residents, next Monday for non-residents. That's filling up even faster than it has in the past. So it's, yeah, it's
Getting out there, yeah.
very popular. And we
Great.
also have a program called Procreate. It's a 1-day, 2-hour class that one of our art instructors, Kara, is running, and that's on March 14th. If anyone is interested in learning more about Procreate.
It's the iPad program.
Yeah, it's on your iPad. You get a little Apple Pencil, which I just ordered myself. We also have Boat America. So this is a beginner boating class for ages 12 and up through adults to obtain a boating license or a safety certification. So that's on June 1st. It's a 1-day class. And we also just met a wonderful woman named Julia, who is Root to Bloom is the name of her company. And she has a program, she's got a couple of programs. We're doing a 1-day introduction with her. So parents and kids can come meet Miss Julia, do an eco-friendly craft with her. And then from there, she's gonna be offering a couple of different programs. One of them is online already. It's very exciting. Sue could tell you more about Miss Julia, but
That's awesome.
she's a pretty impressive person. So
I love it.
that's all I have.
Is the boating class through the Duxbury Bay Maritime School?
Mm.
So are they doing
From
it?
the Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Coast
same
Guard,
one as
yeah.
we've been working with, Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, they've been doing it for us for every year, so.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of good stuff.
There's more,
Yeah.
but
I
you
know, but
that's
that's
just
like
a little,
the-
it's a little sliver, you know?
Yeah, that's great. No, it's amazing.
No, it's crocheting, so I don't crochet, but I am taking the crochet class, so I will.
I know, I looked at Suzie and I'm like, that sounds great.
It actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Saturday, this Saturday, it's only
Stuff.
like 3 hours. 3 hours to Saturday. You guys can go.
Really
Yeah,
They're doing intro to sewing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It didn't work.
I
out
love
last
it.
time.
oh boy. That sounds great. Thank you for everything.
That's awesome.
So great.
Take a look online, there's
Super
more than
excited.
that, so
Yeah.
there's just a ton of programs,
I
awesome
love that we
programs,
offer all
so.
this for the
Yeah.
community.
Yes.
This is great.
And the Beyond the Bell programs continue.
Oh, gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother like entity
Yeah.
of itself.
Yeah, well, that's a game changer for families.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Keith was actually just over there today, checking
Oh,
in with some
great.
of the programs, so.
Oh, nice, awesome. That's great. Love it. Thank you guys for everything you do. Yeah, it's really great. And then our director updates and discussion.
So just that we already talked about the donation. One other thing, so I know we just updated our field use request form. I didn't attach it here, but there is a part in there that talks about property damage. And one of the things that came up in conversation recently was just if we are having not only the Kingston sports organizations, but more so other organizations that come in and want to rent the fields for a specific thing, is we do mention that there is a, damage. There could be damage up to, I don't know if it has a certain amount of money, but that they would have to pay property damage. And somebody suggested, which is not a bad idea, is to potentially get a deposit.
Mhm.
So a deposit check for, potential damage, and then if nothing happens, then we give the check back to them, because a lot of people said, well, how are you gonna get the money if they damage it and then they've gone somewhere else, and it's kind of a little bit more of a challenge. So this provides an opportunity to have it up front when they submit their application and it's approved, we get their check. And then we return it to them, or do whatever they want us to do with it at the end of their facility use. So I know, Pat, you had submitted some type of verbiage, which I don't have right in front of me.
There's something
to
on the top
change that.
already. Is that the one that you were looking at?
So that's for the special permit.
Okay.
So while I was doing that, the other thing too is just to talk about social media and marketing, another thing that Keith has been working with us on. So if you check out our Facebook page, Keith has a great sense of humor, and it's been a little bit more entertaining with some of our posts. So he's very creative with the certain activities. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head. I'm sure that you can, but some of them are very fun. And I've actually had family members who don't even live in the area that now see the posts and are like, who's doing those now? It's been great. So thank you for that. He's been doing a lot more on that social media part of things. He's working on the gallery, he's working on some photo pictures for the homepage. So a lot of that stuff he's been instrumental in doing. So it's been helpful to have that extra assistance. But yeah. Thank you.
So in the field use and procedures, we have a $250 fine for any KYSO groups if they damage anything, and that is basically if they go out on the fields after myself or the rec commission or anybody else is closing down and there's excessive wear and tear, if they go out there, then it's a $250 fine. So my verbiage was any organization requesting the use of the town sports playing fields, Kopachinski Complex and Reed Fields, must submit a separate X amount deposit. If, in the opinion of the Recreation Department, Recreation Commission, or its turf management contractor, there is any turf or field damage in excess of normal wear and tear, this deposit would be used to cover the necessary repairs. Should no unusual damage occur, this deposit would be refunded in full. So that was the kind of the verbiage that I was thinking we should probably put on it, and it would come down to us on voting a dollar amount. That's kind of where it was at. I mean, the 250 for the sports organizations. That they should know not to go on the fields anyway.
Yeah.
It's these other, these other entities that come in and rent the complex and, they're just gonna do whatever they want because they're, well, I already paid for it. Well, you did, but this kind of covers us if there was any excessive damage. Now, I don't know what the appropriate number should be on that. That would be, maybe something.
I think if you're gonna keep a number, it's 50, you should do it across the board. At least if you're gonna implement this.
Right.
It should be 250 across the board, and then later down the road, if you have to change
Have
it.
to amend it because of damage or something like that, or if
Keep
we
it
do
simple
have
for
somebody that
everyone.
rents it
Yeah.
and we spend it, they give us a 250 and it costs 500.
Yeah.
And we change it to 500.
much is the cost for that?
Well, it depends.
It depends on the field.
But on average,
Yeah, so outside organizations, I think Rizzo is, what's it, 200 for 2 hours?
I was gonna say,
think
yeah,
it's-
I
100 an hour.
I think.
100 an hour, and it's 2 hour minimum, and then the rear fields, I believe, are 100 for 2 hours, $50 a piece, $50 an hour.
And how would the deposit be accepted from us? Would it be a credit card deposit or a?
I'd probably ask for a check. I mean, they could do a credit card. I would have to figure that logistics out, but I'd probably ask for a check.
Okay,
Just because that's easier for us to manage instead
Sure.
of doing the refund, because if we
Yeah.
did it through the credit card, we'd have to do a whole refund
Right.
system. So probably a check that we would hang on to,
Okay.
their
Right.
permit. When they
Mm.
submit it in, we'll just print it off and keep it in our folder.
and does this is just a question, I don't even know if you can answer. Does their liability insurance cover damage done, or is it literally just accidental? I guess it would depend on the
It's personal
liability.
property, it's
Is
just
it
personal,
personal
right?
protection?
Personal protection for their certificates of liability they need.
I'd have to look on that. I think so. I mean, it's a certificate of liability, more of liability than property
Have
damage.
property damage, okay.
But then if that was the
I'm
case,
curious.
well, I mean, if their liability covered it, then it's on us to go after their
100%,
insurance.
we don't wanna do that.
Right,
Right, I just was curious, like, in the,
that just sounds like a nightmare.
Liability,
does.
I know with the one I submitted last year, liability is just
personal injury.
just personal.
All right, yeah, so you need to make a motion for that. Okay. Sorry,
Well, to start with, I'd like to make
And
a
then you-
motion, then read it.
then read it.
Okay.
And then you're
And I'm
gonna,
gonna
then you're
need
gonna
that.
email it to
And then I'll-
Randy.
All right, so I would like to make a motion to amend the
Athletic field use
11,
policies. and
yeah, athletic
procedures.
field use, Kingston Park and Recreation Field Use Policies and Procedures. To add the following, any organization requesting the use of town sports playing fields at the Opachinski or Reed Field complexes must submit a separate $250 deposit. If, in the opinion of the Recreation Department, Recreation Commission, or its turf management contractor, there is any turf or field damage in excess of normal wear and tear, this deposit would be used to cover the necessary repairs. Should no unusual damage occur, this deposit will be refunded in full.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent. So Grace Beach Park Music proposed dates. We're starting to plan those. I already have several bands that we're interested in working
Oh,
with.
thank you.
Two of them have been coming back, Pickpockets and Adam Frady's. We'll be inviting them back, so we'll be working with them on scheduling. Also working, I haven't contacted them yet, but we have 3 other bands, local bands, so we're starting local, a little bit more local community members. So we have potentially 5, actually maybe 6 people, and we only have 6 dates. So that's what we're looking at. So we're gonna start in June, potentially June 11th, June 25th, July 9th, July 23rd, August 6th tentatively. That will depend on whether that's National Night Out, which it may be. So if it is, I'll change that date. And then August 20th. And I did reach out to the Board of Selectmen's office to try to have these on Tuesdays that are not the same as the Board of Selectmen's. Their meetings are every other Tuesday, so I kind of went off of their schedule. Obviously, that can change if they have to reschedule their meetings, but I did try to accommodate their schedule as well. So those are the tentative dates. We'll be working with Deb. Will be working with us to try to help support that and implement some of these. She'll be working with the bands and the musicians, as well as the food truck vendors. So we'll be reaching out to Nino's again, and there's a few other food trucks that have reached out. If you have anybody that you want me to contact, then let me know. So that we can try to coordinate that. We had decided not to go with movie night this year just because of the late, the late timing of them. It's been a little bit more challenging to start a movie and have us be out of there at a reasonable time for the residents on the movie nights. And I did just receive, actually just this evening before we got into our meeting, I did receive a memo from the from the Sampson Fund Committee that they are recommending to fund the Grace Beach Park entertainment request of $5,000.
Awesome.
So that will be at town meeting, just to be supported at town meeting, but they have recommended to fund that. So that
Great.
was great.
Thank you for putting that in.
Yeah, so that was nice. Any questions on the Grace Beach Music Nights?
Are we going to ask for a liquor license again this year for?
Yes, yeah, so we
Okay.
don't ask for the liquor license. We
I mean, I
actually
meant the,
to have,
Yeah.
yes, local vendor. So
The
I was
local
gonna
vendor.
talk to, we do have a local brewery in Kingston now, so I was
Yeah.
gonna reach out to them. It would be nice to support our own community to see if they're interested, and then they would need to get their
yes,
license. They would need to get approval for the board of selectmen, right, for that.
42.
Yes, 42. So I'll be reaching out to them either this week or next week. See
Great.
if they're interested. So the timing, I think, is 6 to 7:30-ish or 6:30 to 8, depending on the band's availability.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. The Summer K-Rec Connect program planning, we're still kind of planning that and underway. We're working on some of our Freestyle Friday dates and some of our other things. So I hope to get that online no later than April 1st. So registration could be open for the K-Rec Connect program by then. So if people are asking you, I know people are asking us, there's the wanted to know when registration is going to open since middle of February. So we are working on that. If we can get it together before then and have all the information and fees in place, then we will do that earlier for people. Staff updates, we sent all our letters out to, I know that's old school, sending letters, but it's just the way it was nice and a little bit more personal. So I think that we sent those out to all of our staff from last year. Their deadline is March 3rd, 15th, 15th, that, thanks. Keith helped with that. March 15th, that those need to be returned by. So once I know who's returning, then we'll be able to determine how many new hires we can have. And again, hopefully we'll have that in place by April 1st too. So I've already received some phone calls and questions about that. So feel free to let people know. I know there's a lot of high school kids that want to try to come and join us. I have a feeling we may not have as many openings this year, but hopefully I'm not wrong, because we had a lot of new people that started with us last year. And I think they're interested in coming back.
Are the regular applications open as well, like currently?
Not yet,
Not yet, right?
not till April 1st.
All right, for the new hires.
New hires would be
Old
around the
hires.
beginning of April, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, new hires.
The old hires are March 15th.
Yeah. Old
Okay.
staff, no, yeah, actually, because they're already
Okay.
still hired. It's just a matter of whether they're
Correct,
planning on it.
Okay,
Thank you. You're welcome. The community preservation project, so just to give you an update on that, for the Oberchinsky project, right now, as I mentioned, we're scheduled with Kevin to start as soon as possible, weather permitting, to the B2 renovation field. So as soon as he feels that's okay to do due to the properties, same weather and all of that, he'll get that underway. The bid is in process right now with our engineer to go out to bid for the construction of the drainage portion of that project. So we're working on that. And again, hopefully that will be final information within the next week or so, and try to get that bid out right away. We will be talking about the timing of that, because there could be a little bit of a challenge with the sports groups going on and having to start the project a little bit later than anticipated. So we may do part of that drainage part and then hold off on some of it until after the spring sports are going, just because it could be a challenge with the driving in and out. It won't be a long project. They estimate only about a week for the drainage portion of it. So it's not a tight, but it's just, we'll just have to look at it and see what makes the best sense for the
and
traffic.
that won't affect the timing of the funds or
No,
like holding off on it. a little bit.
no. I still anticipate it to be done before July 1st.
Okay,
When's opening day?
April
April 1st.
first.
First is the unofficial, the official opening day of the complex. Sports opening days probably won't be until late April.
No, for baseball. The sports start in the beginning of April.
Well, practices on, games and stuff.
No, they start right away, usually soccer, they start some of their games like right away, like in that second week of April, don't they? I think baseball usually starts. Well, you know,
Softball, I
actually,
know, is moving their schedule way up this year too.
so everybody started a little bit earlier.
So with that area will only be affecting KYDS and so.
Well, it'll be affecting the whole complex because potentially there could just be a one-way in and
Gotcha.
one road, so
Okay.
not enough for two cars to pass. So I have to work with the contractor and the engineer on that to see if
Okay.
we can make some availability for two cars to pass. If not, we
Got it.
might have to shut it. See if we can work with them to work around the availability of the sports groups. And again, it's not like we're talking multiple weeks. We're hoping it will be 3 to 5 days.
We can look at, we can
Okay.
look at the schedules too,
Right.
sports schedules to see where the lighter days are.
Right. And then the B1 portion obviously will be done after that happens. So that's on schedule too for that. So I will,
Drainage has to happen before the field renovation.
right.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's that. And then read property updates, nothing really updated here. The facilities department has been doing a lot of work internally here, helping some painting, doing some additional work like that. We are working with the facilities department also on the upgrade to the electrical as part of the installation of the portable air conditioning system units. So that will be happening within the next, we're just waiting for parts to be delivered. So that will be happening as soon as parts are available for our electrician. And then once that takes place, then we can purchase the units and move forward with that. So that's what's happening here at this building. Grays Beach Park stickers are available to those who are purchasing shellfish license now, so they can get their stickers when they purchase their shellfish license, which is opened up on March 1st. And then the other stickers for the general public open on April 1st at 9 a.m. For residents and non-residents. Non-residents, we will probably sell out within less than 24 hours. So that will happen fairly quickly. And then we have Deb helping us with that. She'll be kind of the point person for the Grays Beach Park stickers for both the mailings, and she'll be working with us a little bit internally in the department to help support that as well.
Did we already order stickers?
Stickers, we already have them.
We already have them.
Yeah, we've already have them. We gave some to the selectman's office so they can
For that.
support the shellfish people.
And we talked to the recycling. Did we talk to recycling last time to make sure that they changed their verbiage on their handout?
Oh, they're the ones who had it on there? I thought it was us. So it's recycling.
It's the recycle sticker handout that comes from maybe highway?
Yeah,
I don't
comes from the
really know
highway
who does
department.
that. Yeah.
So that's where it was.
That was
So is that the one that said you could use it?
Mhm.
Okay. I know somebody did ask me about that, so I'll reach out to them tomorrow.
I'm sure you guys were great and made sure that the stickers don't match, right?
Yes.
They're different
Yes, we
colors.
did.
We contacted, we asked them what color they're gonna use first, because they have more than
Aw,
we do,
yeah.
and then they let us
Then
know,
you-
and then we try to pick something that doesn't blend
The
too
same.
closely.
That's
yes.
so great. Good job. Your job's gonna be a piece of cake this summer. then. That's great.
all right,
Thank you guys for doing that.
Highway, and you said that was on the,
It was on a handout that they give out. One of the residents showed it to me at the beach one day.
that says that recycling can be used.
Yep.
Okay.
At the Dina and at Grays Beach. It was very specific. I know that it was talked about last year and pretty sure the selectman's office called over, but I just want to make sure that it didn't get forgotten in the year since it was talked about, so.
Yeah, because I'm sure they haven't. I think I'll start doing this to June.
Okay, good. All right, great. So we caught it in time.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, all I
That's it.
have.
That's it.
Yep.
And then any items for next meeting? Anybody has any comments?
Nothing. And that's on April 1st. Woo-woo, April Fool's Day. No jokes available.
The only thing I wanted to add to that was the kayak discussion for that next meeting.
Kayak rack.
Yes. To roll it out, communication to residents. And that was it. That's the only thing I could think of. What? The kayak rack. Roll it out to
Policies and procedures.
policies and procedures to the community, probably right around April, I would assume. So we can talk about it. For that meeting, when we want to do that, what we want it to look like and sound like, I guess. Okay. Everyone good?
Maintaining my 11-month streak, I'd like to make a motion to.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you guys for a great meeting.
Thank you.